In this laboratory in Beijing, scientists are racing to develop a vaccine to end the pandemic in China and around the world. But about 6 months since the virus first spread from the city of Wuhan, this team warns that a vaccine is at least a year away.
In the past, we started with step A, then step B, etc. Now we're doing step A, B, C, D at the same time. But developing a vaccine in a few months is impossible. We have to wait at least until next year for market use. That's the best case scenario.
China's government supports about 20 labs like this one. Chinese leaders are working to curb the recent resurgence in infections in Hebei province and the capital, Beijing. The government says more than 11 million people have been tested since the beginning of June. More than 300 infections have been confirmed in the capital in recent weeks. The latest outbreak in Fengtai district is linked to the biggest wholesale food market in the capital. There have been no local transmissions in recent days, but residents remain worried.
How the Wuhan outbreak started, what is the origin of the virus, and how the outbreak happened recently in Beijing. Most residents live in fear because they don't know the real story.
A World Health Organization team is due to arrive in China this weekend to investigate the origin of the outbreak, their third trip to the country this year. The agency was reportedly frustrated by the Chinese government's lack of communication when the epidemic first came to light. China's leaders deny any cover-up and are unlikely to take responsibility for the spread of the pandemic. Instead, $2 billion is being pledged to the WHO, and China is also pouring millions into so-called mask diplomacy.
China will solve this virus problem with money. China is happy to use this economic tool rather than taking the responsibility for the pandemic.
In Beijing, large-scale gatherings and classes have been indefinitely postponed. For everyone living here, the return to normality is far from straightforward, and the fear of infection remains a part of everyday life. Katrina, Jazeera, Beijing.